I'm the bionic.
You know?
Tight knees babies with mine. What? You got it?
Okay.
Are we live at 11:05? This guy, we went live.
Yeah.
We're getting our shot. This was it. Oh, Jesse called it our toenail, so we got the toenail shot. I had everybody. We're working away. I was pretending I was the bionic guy, just screwing tight with my fingers, but nonetheless, we're focused. Are we focused?
We're focused.
Are we focused?
Okay.
We're running a race here. We got X amount of hours to build this car, but we're not going to cut any corners. We can't, or you're disqualified. And we don't want to get disqualified. And it does take a little bit of practice to run a race. I mean, you just can't get out there and run a marathon without ever just like starting a little bit and running more and a lot of practice. But once you get to racing, if you gotta pace yourself, you pace yourself. If you gotta go full speed, you go full speed. You gotta do whatever you gotta do to get the prize, to get to the end, to get her done. So we've got it all set up, and what made me think of all that, this is David's car. And we've been working on it for a while, and then with the transition from the building over there to here and going on, and we've been in a lot of, I'm not going to say chaos, but in a lot of movement. In the last couple of years, we've really expanded our brick and mortar to have a whole new fiberglass shop, have a whole new, this is our rod shop. Actually, this is our, can you see, this is our hot rod hotspot. So if it gets into this area, like my little fire back there, can you see the fire in there? Yeah, it's awesome, huh? So we'll get that, we'll make some signs here, and we're gonna put the cameras up so you can watch us live doing this. So that may be happening this week, next week, soon, whatever. So we assembled chassis, we got it all, we got it down here, we're doing, so I just been working with the guys, so Pete and David the Indian. So we're all focused in our own little areas and doing our thing, and I started in the back, and I don't know who put it together. I mean, we put it together, but I'm not sure who, but some of the bolts weren't tight, some of it was just kind of like, all right, it looked like a car, but it wasn't a car. It wasn't safe. So whenever you, that's my I can't stress this enough. Work in a pattern almost. If I'm going to do the rear end, get all my pieces forward, get everything going, work through thoroughly. If I'm going to put the radius rods on, just a couple hints. So it was leaning a little bit one way or another, and I've said this in I don't know how many videos, and I'll keep on saying it because it's one of the number one questions or problems or issues people have. If I hook my radius rods up, you can see this is solid. It's not like a 4-link, so it can't travel independent somewhat. If I got that side hooked up already, and then if I bolt this side together, and I don't have it in, so I can pull it out. Well, I'm not going to pull it out even, but that bolt should slide pretty much in and out. If it's up high, or if it's down low, you can always pull it up to jam the bolt in, or push it down to jam the bolt in. What will happen if you do that? You turn the entire chassis into like a torsion axle. So it's going to lean one way or another, and you're going to think it's a shock problem, but it's not. It's going to be a problem of the radius rod is going to be wanting to push this side down, or it's going to be wanting to pull this side up, depending on which way you had to pull it or push it down to get it in there. So make sure that's lined up. You can always adjust it back here on the clevis. So you've got adjustments on the clevis. These are jam nuts. I don't have them tight yet. I'm just starting to go through the back, coming this way. I'm making sure all my clevis bolts are tight here. Once I've got them adjusted, make sure your jam nuts are tight. Make sure you have a jam nut on there. But if I need to move my radius rod up, I can either take this one and open it up and make it wider, which will move it up, or I can take this one and close it down, which would still move it up, or go the opposite way. So it'd be about even. We're putting the shifter in, got the low car shifter in. We're getting ready to cut the hole. A good way to cut the hole, and a lot of what I talk about is on a Spirit car. So this is a T-bucket. We've done a lot of them. We actually paint the cars without even pre-fitting them. We're pretty sure everything's going to fit and not have problems. So I put the shifter on, and now I can measure this location right here. I need to cut out the bottom of the body, the floor and the body, to fit my shifter down. I got my bolt holes, which are already going to be pre-located in the body. So I can use these bolt holes as a location. I can run a straight line across them, then I can measure off them this way. I can measure like that. I can also use the back ones here to do a cross measurement. It's a whole lot easier than trying to hold the body up here and mark it and slide it in and do. Before we even put the body on, before we even paint it, I've already got the steering column, the hole in for that, where it's going to slide down. I've got the brake pedal hole in there. So we're going to get it down. I'm probably going to pre-fit one more time, get this hole cut, pre-fit it, and drop it down. I've marked where the firewall is going to go here. So the firewall goes right here. I'm going to drill some bigger holes right here, put some grommets in it, and if you look up to the headlight stanchions, there's a hole in the headlight stanchion underneath there, and if you look underneath here, you can probably see there's probably a hole right there probably. So the wires will run up through the frame, up through here, and then we use headlights that have the turn signals are actually in the bottom of the headlights. Put the motor together, the flywheel and all that's on with the torque converter and the transmission, so it's together and on. It's just as easy to dress out the motor when it's on, and one of the reasons we did it when it's on is, secondly, is the parts just got here today, so coordinating the parts is sometimes a big deal, especially in today's world. Supply chain, there are some serious supply chain issues out there, so we just need to be kind of aware and cautious of that. It doesn't make sense to start on a project and rush through it to a place where you can't finish, even where you come to a stopping point. So we don't want to do that. Next we're going to do, not probably today, I've got the radiator over there. It's already been fit, but I need to make sure the grill shell gets on it and the fan and all that gets on it. So we'll be putting this together. I think, I'm not sure, Josh, if you call over and order a turnkey car, I think the basic, not counting paint, the basic assembly on a turnkey T-bucket is 80 hours. I maybe give or take a little bit, and don't get frustrated if you don't get it done in 2 weeks at your house working 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day. We've got jigs, we've got tools, we've done this many times. It's almost an assembly. Sometimes we'll do like Alan's cars over there. It's going to be unique. And now we're spending a lot more. We'll have a lot more hours in that car. We might spend a whole day just trying to create some brackets that look over the top versus a store-bought bracket that we just put on there that cost, $10 or whatever it is. So we're moving ahead. This is a race. I mean, and pretty much we've got 80 hours to get it done. I mean, that's if we're legitimate and we're journeyman bodymen or journeyman rod builders or whatever we are, that should be the time it takes. We don't want to take a lot longer. We don't want to take a lot less. That wouldn't be fair to the customer either. We wouldn't be charging right. So there is a range in there, but absolutely, no question about it. I mean, it's just non-negotiable. You cannot cut corners. If someone cuts corners, that's if you cheat in the game, you're disqualified. If you cut corners at Trinity Street Rods building a car, there's other consequences that we may talk about it for a little while, but we're not going to talk very long. It's just building your team is important if it's a team sport, and obviously this is a team sport today, and it will be for the rest of the week. I mean, it's great when you can work together. I'm truly enjoying working with the guys, and that's a lot of times just isn't about the car. It's about the relationships that come around the car and all that. I mean, if the car itself is your prize, well, it's okay. I mean, but honestly, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot if you just don't become involved in the I don't know if I want to call it a sport or hobby or a passion or whatever you want to call it. But there's a lot of people involved in hot rodding and some really great people. I mean, people that will give you the shirt off their back and give a call and, oh yeah, we'll come help, we'll help. And that's not a common thing in this world, and you find it pretty often in the hot rodding world. It's great. I love it. And yesterday was a big day here. I had somebody come down from Kansas City with his brother-in-law, and I'm horrible with names. I can't remember his name, or I call y'all. Appreciate y'all coming down. We showed everybody around, and then had somebody wander in just I don't know, randomly, but he's building a resto old Corvette. I think it was a '66, and he's looks like he's got 2 or 3 other cars, so maybe we'll be doing some work for him. And what it comes down to is, this is an assembly. This is a turnkey car. We sell it. We're focused. You order the car, it gets in the schedule, and there it is. I mean, we try to do it in a timely time frame. We've been behind with some of the issues in the world, and then we have done a lot lately with increasing our brick and mortar, our actual physical space here. So we're about done with that. Thank you, Gilligan. You're up there doing drywall today. He's my utility guy, my little buddy here. Now he's cameraman, doing his toenails, giving me "you're on" before I'm ready. And so we're about done with the body shop. We're just about done with this building. We're ready to start taking in consignments and building cars. We've got our hot spot. We'll probably have our cameras in this week or next week, and you can. So I think it's time for trigger time. Just following the race theme. I'm still following the race theme, and I'm going to be in Corinthians. And this is for me, it's not for you. But if it applies to you, use it. If you're a Christian, we're brothers, sisters. We're the same family. We know where we're going. We just got to get there. We're in a race. If you're not, I mean, the way is easy. The burden's light. I mean, the price has been paid. Christ paid the price, and it's through him that we can have salvation. But that would be your choice, and it's your choice. I'm not going to get into the doctrine of anything past that. I'll just try to continue to share the word. It's either true or it's not. I mean, you can believe that or you can't, but truth is truth, and it stands whether you believe it or not. And everything I've seen through my years, when God said he spoke it into creation, he spoke it into creation. When he tells me in his word something is so, I can kind of stand on it, and it will play out, and I'll see it at some point. I may not understand the mind of God, but how can we? So this is Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners compete, but only one receives the prize? So run that you may obtain it. Every athlete exercises self-control in all things. They do it to receive a perishable wreath, but we an imperishable. Well, I do not run aimlessly. I do not box as one beating the air, but I pummel my body and subdue it, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. Sometimes it's easier to just say the words than do them. I'm to the point where, don't tell me any. I've heard it. Don't even tell me. I mean, I don't care if it's from the preachers in the pulpit. I don't care if it's the politicians in the running our country or doing whatever they're doing to our country, or if it's just show me. I'm to the point, just show me. Don't tell me about it. Show me. And so what we're going to do, we're going to show you how to build a hot rod. David is coming together, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We might fire up T-Bucket TV here pretty soon. It's another YouTube channel we have. I've got multiple builds going on, and we may do an edited version of a T-Bucket build. That way we can do the different aspects, do a whole edited video that'll make a lot of sense. Won't have a lot of me rambling in between. We can always cut that part out, because I'm good at waving my arms and rambling, in case you didn't notice. That may coming up, and then I'd started a Trinity Street Rods YouTube thing, and on Rumble, that's another a YouTube type platform. I think I'm going to start doing on Rumble too. So we may use a little different format on that and focus on individual cars and individual car builds outside of the T-Bucket range, because we've got a lot of other ones, and that may be an edited version too. I don't know. We'll see how good we get on the IT side, but we're getting there, moving ahead. Today's only Wednesday, right? Today's Wednesday, yeah. So we still got 2 days this week, and we've got it's the third day, and we've done 3 videos. Man, that is like consistent for us. So we'll see you tomorrow, Lord willing.